Home in the Woods by Eliza Wheeler. This is my family. Mom is 34. Baby Eva is 3 months. B is 12. Lowell is 4. Doll is 2. Marv is 8. Rich is 10. Ray 14. And this is me, Marvel 6. Dad lives with the angels now, and we need to find a new home. Summer. Deep in these woods, we find a shack all wrapped in tar paper. It's hot outside, but the shack looks cold and empty, like I feel inside. You'll never know what treasures we'll find, says Mom. In the shack, we don't see any treasures. Wooden table, empty crates, rusty oven, dusty shelf, potbelly stove, box springs. But Lowell and Eva find a door in the floor. Below is a root cellar filled with old glass jars, a tin pail, a pile of rags, and a pitcher pump that goes up and down and up and down, and out comes a stream of cool, clear water. This place will do fine, says my big brother Ray, but it doesn't seem like much of a home to me. Outside the ground is a blanket of rotting leaves. Doll and Bee dig underneath to find soft, dark, rich soil. The seeds from our old garden can go here, says Bee. When the crystal rain falls, our seed slowly takes root. Some treasures take a little time, says Mom. The songs of happy frogs echo through the trees. The woods are a tangle of birch, poplar, pine, and sugar maple. Marv finds a secret path of the white-tailed deer woven all around. The paths lead us to a twisting trout creek, an empty beaver lodge, a blooming berry patch with jewels, sweet jewels of blue and red. We fill our pail, Marv's hat, Ray's bag. Lowell fills his empty belly. Our laughter echoes through the trees. Autumn. Cool winds come and spice up the air and fill it with rust and ruby leaves. Mom walks into town to do chores for pay, so we take care of the chores at the shack. Rich writes them on paper slips that we draw from a hat. Split wood, wash up, hang clothes, pull weeds, pick veggies, sweep some. We fill the glass jars with Mom's berry preserves and the harvest from our garden. We'll save them for winter and stack them in the cellar like buried treasure. Then we need more supplies. We head to Bennett's General Store. The windows are full of marvelous things like catalog dresses, pearly sweets, shiny tools, wind-up toys. But Mom's chore money can only buy some basics: baking flour, soap flakes, lamp oil. We say nothing at all on the long walk home. Back at the shack, we invent a new game, General Store. We can buy anything we want. Rich is the banker. Marv pumps gas. Bee sells fine hats. Lowell is the jeweler. I display mud sweets. Our laughter echoes through the trees once again. Winter. The days are dark. Bitter winds blow. Ray and Marv trek out to hunt for food. Bee huddles in the lamp's glow. Mom teaches her that scraps put together make colored patchwork. I huddle by the warm stove. Rich teaches me that letters put together make words, and words put together make stories. Most days, Ray and Marv return from their hunt with nothing at all, but tonight they are proud and tall. We plunder our stores, and Mom works the stove like magic. A feast for the kings and queens of the forest, Rich says. Baked green beans, soft loaf bread, wild turkey stew, and blueberry pie. Snow falls in the blanket of diamonds around the shack. The jack pines sway above us as we fall asleep close together. But Mum stays awake into the night, whispering to the stars. Spring. After many months, warm, fresh air comes pouring in the shack. The cottonwoods are all in bloom. Me and Bee carry Mum's loaf bread and blueberry jam to the neighbor's farm. They fill our pail with milk and our hat with golden eggs. We go slow and careful on the path home. Bee calls out the flowers' names: wood violet, dwarf iris, pink lady slipper, pitcher plant. The songs of happy birds echo through the trees. Here in the woods, I find my brothers and sisters. Our mum and me marvel. The shack, all wrapped in tar paper, looks different now, warm and bright and filled with love, like I feel inside.
In the fall of 1932, during the Great Depression, when my grandmother Marvel was 6, her family was evicted from their home in Bennett, a small town in northern Wisconsin. Her father, a munitions factory worker, began moving their belongings into an abandoned tar paper shack deep in the woods, but he died of cancer before being able to spend a single night there. His wife Claire, the 34-year-old daughter of Norwegian immigrants, was left to care for their 8 children, ages 3 months to 14 years old. With a little aid from the mother's pension and some janitorial work, they learned to survive mainly by growing vegetables, picking berries. She canned 40 quarts of blueberries each year, fishing for trout and hunting squirrel, rabbit, and deer. Neighbors also shared in many ways they could during those lean times. My grandmother's family lived in the shack for about 5 years. I grew up hearing stories of that time from my grandmother Marvel, how her mother was able to make delicious food out of whatever they had, how they had to come up with their own games since they had no toys. My grandmother wants you to know that their favorite game, called General Store in this book, was really called The Game. There were stories of below 0-degree winters made especially harsh by weather coming off Lake Superior. My great-uncle Lowell recalled cutting firewood inside the shack on those days in order to continually feed the stove. What an incredibly hard time it must have been, and yet they recall the memories from those years as some of their best. They all had purpose and found inventive ways to work together and make it fun. At the time of this writing, 4 of the 8 siblings are still with us. Eva, 87, Lowell, 91, Marvel, 93, and Rich, 97. This book is inspired not only by the stories from their childhood, but by the entire generation that experienced the Great Depression. They will soon be gone, and if we haven't yet collected their stories, the time is now. What is your family's story?